The absence of Andrew Marr from the BBC is something I think to be bemoaned, and he is a great loss. But his thoughts are extraordinary, and he's put out one today, uh, which is a two-part thing. On the one hand, he advises against a binary choice between Hamas and Netanyahu, and there are many people who are sympathetic to the Palestinian plight. How can you not be? Who are critical of this right-wing thug Netanyahu, but at the same time are supportive of the state of Israel. And the problem is that uh, there are hotheads who want to blur the distinction between these two extremists, these two extreme positions. Suella Braverman did her best the other day by talking about Palestinian flags. There's nothing wrong with waving a Palestinian flag. There's nothing wrong with waving an Israeli flag. The two should be waved together, frankly. But the it's that area in between, and defining that area in between, in which most of us would find a place. Most of us would inhabit that area in between. And we cannot possibly endorse a terrorist organization, a death cult like Hamas. And I don't think really we can endorse Netanyahu's thuggish behavior and his reluctance to apologize for the intelligence errors which led to the gap in the system which allowed Hamas in. But Hamas had been growing in power because Netanyahu felt confident, because he felt that he'd got them trapped. And trapping somebody is not a solution. And taking away people's land is not a solution. So the settlers need to be reined in, Hamas needs to be reined in, Netanyahu needs to be reined in. And is there time to do all that? Now, the second part of what Andrew Marr says is simply magnificent. And he says that he thinks that the rumours that he's heard around Westminster are that he believes that the Israeli government was in talks with the Saudi government, the Egyptian government, and others maybe, to take over the running and the security of the Gaza Strip. So a Muslim government taking over a Muslim area, and that this would eventually lead to some sort of two-state solution. And that, he concludes, is something that Hamas could never accept. And Hamas and Iran together with Hezbollah could never accept the greater influence of the Sunni states in the region. I think to that one should add Turkey, frankly. A solution which gave Turkey and Saudi Arabia some sort of control, guardianship of Gaza would be an excellent first step towards peace. And it's a great shame that didn't manifest. I think it's the blueprint of any future solution, however, and I think that's probably what Blinken has been doing, running around with his shuttle diplomacy in the last few days. And if we can only get aid into Gaza and pull back from the worst excesses of a siege and a ground invasion, while at the same time allowing some sort of destruction of Hamas's tunnel structures, surely Israel knows exactly where they are. The tunnels have been sketched on BBC maps. So we know where the tunnels are. If we know, then Israel must know significantly more. And it's the eradication of those tunnels and the rounding up of Hamas, and probably not so much the imprisonment, but the deportation of the Hamas administration, which is paramount to solving the problem and bringing in a Muslim-led solution to the area, and doing that as fast as possible. And that is the better solution than a siege, and that is something that should have been put in place from the very beginning. Now, what will Hamas do in the face of that? All manner of horrors, I'm sure, face an organization which is committed to, as I say, a death cult and to its own importance, and not committed to the security and safety of the people it governs. And I certainly don't think even in the pursuit of that more moderate plan that the atrocities are going to stop. Who commits those atrocities, that's another matter entirely, but this scenario is dominated by atrocity and catastrophe. And that is because Netanyahu, like Hamas, have played this long waiting game, and hatred and evil have bubbled to the surface in a way that we can also see in Ukraine. Hatred and evil bubbling to the surface. And it's very difficult to see a way around this. It's very difficult to see an immediate resolution. Even the moderate solutions are fraught with disaster.